This is one of the best books on coding, and I've had this highly recommended to me by people who work in the industry. It's Clean Code by Robert C. Martin, affectionately known as Uncle Bob. And one of the good quotes from that book is, indeed, the ratio of time spent reading versus writing is well over 10 to 1. We are constantly reading old code as part of the effort to write new code. Therefore, making it easy to read makes it easier to write. He's talking about code here. You often hear people say code is read more than it is written, and that comes from this book. So one of the things that we can do with that in mind is we can make our code in such a way that when someone else reads it, it is easy for them to read, and they get information from it. And that someone might not be another human being, it might be us in the future. When we come back to our code in a month after a vacation, we still want to know what's going on. So the way that we're going to do that is by writing comments and docstrings. And we're going to follow the Google Python style guide. So if you have any questions about what should I do for my Python code, they're answered here in the Google Python style guide. And I'll have a link to this in the Blackboard page. The thing I think is interesting is it says Python is the main dynamic language used at Google. So don't worry about PyLint right now. We probably don't need to worry about that. Instead, what we're going to be looking for are things like comments, and in this particular instance, we're interested in docstrings. So notice here's an example of a Python code snippet as recommended by Google. Look at what they have after their functions. After the function definition, they have 3 quotations and then a sentence that describes what the function does. And then args, which are the input arguments, returns, which is what will be given back as the output of the function, and raises, if any errors are raised during the process. We probably won't worry about raises right now, but we should definitely write a docstring that provides a description, provides the args, and explains what they are, and explains what the function returns. So I'm going to go back, and with that in mind, I'm going to look at this function that I've written here. So after def square, I should have 3. And let's look and see if we can copy this. Okay, connects to the next available port. So I'm going to say squares multiplies a number x by itself. And then I should have an args, one arg in this case, which is x, a number. And then I have returns, which is y, the result of x times itself. Let me double check my style against theirs. Okay, they have, I should be cleaner. I should have, and returns. I don't have to give the variable, but I should have a sentence. So here I believe that my docstring format matches theirs. Let's double check that. And blah, blah, blah. The rest of it looks the same, and spacing and all that. Okay. Now, this didn't cost me anything other than a little bit of time, but I think the value that it adds in clarifying what's going on is tremendous. So I am going to ask you to write docstrings for the functions that you're creating, even at times that it seems like overkill. It's such a good practice to get into that I think we should just start doing it. And then if there are times where we don't need it in your real world, you can skip it. But for this class, let's write docstrings anytime we write a function.